Hi, I'm John Gresch, Vice President of Arri's Lighting Division. Today we're going to talk to you about Arri's lighting kits. Good morning and welcome to Arri Lighting. This morning we're going to be talking about our most popular lighting kits. Now, why Arri manufactures lighting for all types of production and applications, everything from large feature films to small independent films. Today we are going to be talking how you can benefit from the technology that Arri uses in its basic lighting kits. We have two types of lighting kits. The first, which uses tungsten lighting technology. The second of which uses HMI lighting technology. It's the tungsten kits that we will benefit by talking with the most this morning. And these come in two sizes. We have the D kit, primarily meant for small digital productions, and our larger SoftBank kits that come in a much larger case than what we will show you this morning. This is our lightest weight kit, known as the D3. Its size of the case is roughly 3 feet by 18 inches by a foot and contains 3 lights. An easy carrying handle, weighs 40 pounds. As you can see, the lights are compartmentalized so that at first glance you know exactly where your tools of the trade are. The workhorse light in the D3 kit is the Arri 650 Fresnel. Placing the 650 on a stand, place the socket receiver of the bail block over the 5/8 or baby pin of the stand and tighten down with the pan knob. Typically, you will mount the light on a stand at a working height so that you can mount your lamp in the fixture and prepare the fixture for the shoot. Usually, scrims and filter frames are shipped in the accessory bracket, and you may want to remove those initially in order for them to be out of your working way. To open the fixture for lamping, go to the right-hand side of the fixture if you're standing behind the fixture. Push into the extrusion above the bail mounting block and open the clamshell 180 degrees. This will reveal the whole inside of the fixture, including, as you can see, the very large reflector. You want to place the focus into the spot position, which is all the way back, in order to give you the maximum amount of space to lamp your fixture. In a new lighting kit, the lamps come initially packed separately in the lid of the kit, 1 lamp for each light. Finding the appropriate designation would be to take the 650 watt lamp to put into the 650 watt fixture. You can buy these lamps individually in order to have a spare, not only in the 650 watt, but also in a 500 watt or a 300 watt if you choose to downglobe the fixture. When you remove a tungsten bulb from the package, you do not want to touch the glass envelope. You may touch the base, but if you were to touch the glass envelope, you would want to do so with either gloves, clean gloves, plastic, or a tissue. You may use the plastic bag that comes with the bulb or a simple lens tissue. Look at the base of the globe. You will see that there's a large pin and a small pin that align with the large hole and small hole in the socket. The standard lamp used for the Arri 650 is a 650 watt lamp and uses a planar filament, meaning that all the filament is lined up in a row. When properly aligned in the fixture, this filament is parallel with the lens of the fixture. Make sure it's securely seated all the way down. You visually can tell that the base is touching the socket. And of course, remove then the material that you used to place the lamp. Close the lamp lid, making sure it's properly secured by pushing in to the indent of the extrusion. And you are now ready to power up your fixture by plugging your cord set into power. This unit comes with a 25-foot cable, which means you can power this unit from a convenient wall outlet without the need of an extension cord. Arri uses a heavy-duty switch to hold up to all location riggers, including a plastic cover over the switch to keep dirt and grime out of the switch itself. The single line is the on position, the zero or circle is the off position. Many people in location will hang the switch from the blue cord set, keeping the switch closer to the fixture itself for easy use. Once the fixture is on, you then can either spot or flood the fixture by the thermally insulated knob on the rear of the fixture. You can adjust the tilt of the fixture by the side thermally insulated tilt knob, and adjust the pan by the pan knob on the top of the stand. The 4-leaf barn door has 2 large leaves and 2 smaller leaves that can be used to create a rectangle of light. When placed in the accessory ears of the fixture, you then can shape roughly the barn door in the position you want, and then when the fixture is on, you can finish the shaping more exactly. If you open the short leaves further, you can then create a tighter slit of light by the 2 larger leaves, which is often a very nice slash highlight used in a lot of background needs. You can secure by the top latch to ensure proper rotation without the barn door or any of the other accessories jumping out of track. Scrims are often used to reduce the intensity of the light without changing the color temperature. The green scrims reduce the light by a half stop. The red scrim reduces the light by a full stop. When you initially get this from a new kit, the scrims will have the ordering code and the dimension of the scrim on it. You do want to remove these labels prior to use in the light itself. You may choose to use more than one scrim in order to build up even less light to come out of the fixture itself. First, I will add the single scrim to the front of the fixture. Secondly, I will add the double scrim in front of that. The fixture comes with a top latch so that if you were using the fixture in a much higher application, you would have the safety feature of being able to put this latch and close it so that the scrims would maintain themselves within the accessory ears. Notice that we did not change the actual spot or flood characteristic of the light by adding the scrims, merely just changed the intensity. One option to the full single scrim is the half single scrim. The half single scrim is often used to align a division between the foreground and the background in order to have a half a stop less light on the foreground area and more light to travel the further distance to the background area. So that if an actor is walking towards the lamp head, they start out in that portion of the beam that has no scrim, giving the most amount of light to what's needed in the distance. And as they walk closer to the fixture, walking into that portion of the beam that has the half scrim, so that they have the reduced amount of light from the fixture, leaving a constant exposure over the entire take. You'll see here that it allows for a tilt down 80 degrees below horizontal, 80 degrees up for horizontal. It also will indicate the minimum distance between the front of the fixture to combustible materials. In this case, in this fixture, 1 meter or 30 some inches. In the case behind the fixture, it would be a 1/2 meter, or roughly 18 inches. And there's also clearance of a 1/2 meter that's needed between the top of the fixture and combustible materials such as the ceiling of the particular room you're working in. Once again, this fixture is designed to be able to work down to 80 degrees from the horizontal or up 80 degrees from the horizontal. There's additional markings on the fixture that give various warnings and safety needs. Of course, the most important is these fixtures do get hot. One of the reasons why these fixtures get hot is they are designed to do so. The design of the fixture is to take and dissipate the heat from the lamp to the outside of the fixture as quickly and efficiently as possible. This is achieved through the multiple extrusion fins as well as the design of the front and the rear castings. By getting the heat from the inside of the fixture to the exterior, it can then dissipate into the atmosphere as quick and as efficiently as possible. In addition to the extrusions dissipating the heat, there are strategically placed ventilation fins for proper airflow within the fixture itself without creating too much ambient light leak. Often when mounting the Arri 650 in a hanging position, one wants to add a safety cable to ensure duality of protection should the standard mounting technique fail. This is done by taking a standard safety cable, applying it to the safety hook supplied with the fixture, and mounting it separately to the grid or hanging position of the studio itself. One of the added safety features of most of our mid to large size Fresnels is a safety screen with large enough openings so that it does not add any imaging changes to the fixture. However, it does contain glass should the lens ever break in production so that the pieces of glass do not leave the fixture. The safety screen can be removed in order to change it to a new one should the safety screen become damaged or broken. It is done by removing 3 small screws with a Phillips head screwdriver. In your D3 kit is a HMI soft bank. This is located in the lid of the kit. The bank itself comes in a nice little carrying case, and then there is the mounting ring. Take both units out of the case and then take the actual HMI out of its zippered bag. There are 4 mounting rods. The piece itself behaves very much like a small camping tent. Find the opening, which is the largest part of the unit, and then the back flaps, which is the smaller part of the unit. You're going to be putting the mounting rods into the small sleeves. There is at the end of the rod both a kind of soft-shaped end and a second more sharp end with a red dot. The red dot goes out because that's what will be mounted into your actual ring. Place each one of these mounting rods into the sleeves at all 4 corners of the unit. Obviously, the reason for the rounded edge of the part that goes in is so that you don't puncture the fabric material itself, even though it is virtually puncture-proof in its design. Once you have all 4 of your mounting rods in, you then take your HMI ring and having the silver part of the rotating ring outwards, that's going to go to the light. The front, facing the soft bank itself, has more of the black material. And you can see that this ring rotates within the part we're going to mount to so that we will be able to rotate the soft bank within the light itself. There are 4 holes by which to put the mounting rods. And you now can hold the flaps back by the Velcro that comes on the material. These flaps should be left open except for needing to control the light leak, because you want to have the maximum amount of airflow. You are now ready to put this on the front of your fixture. It would be impossible to do 2 accessories at the same time of your barn door and the actual HMI bank, because they both occupy the same position of the accessory ring. As you can see, what will happen here is the light will fill the inside of the box and create a little bit of bounce within the box, and we'll be adding now a series of front diffusion in order to create the softness of the light itself. In the actual bag that comes with the HMI, there is a series of pieces. The front diffusion can be used with or without an inner baffle. Let's try it first without the inner baffle. We'll place the outer diffusion by fixing the Velcro around the perimeter of the unit to create a complete light seal. And we will now rotate the unit to show the rear view. And for purposes of what we're doing here, I will close the top baffle, the side flap. There's Velcro tabs by which you can affix it. And we'll leave the bottom one open. Typically, when using the Fresnel spotlight in a HMI light bank, you will want to place the focus knob to complete flood in order to fill as much of the light box as possible with the light and get the maximum amount of reflection on the side of the HMI light bank itself, giving the smoothest field of light to the front area. Now let's take a look at what would happen if we did use the inner bank. We'll turn the light off. Remove the front baffle. Take our inner diffusion piece, which has just corner tabs, and relate to the mounting corner tabs on the inside. This second layer of diffusion obviously will make the light quite a bit softer than we experienced without the inner diffusion piece. Once the inner diffusion is in place, we reattach the outer diffusion. And now with the 2 pieces of diffusion, the light will be considerably softer and a little less bright. Again, we've left the top flap and the 2 side flaps closed so as not to get too much ambient spill from this direction on the camera. And turning the light on here, we will see that we have a softer and less intense amount of light off the front. Now it's possible to rotate the entire HMI bank within the front of the fixture. Doing so, just make sure that your flaps don't get bound up on any of the light fixture itself. Quite often it's desirable to open up your flaps while you're doing the rotation and then reclosing them when you get into the new orientation. Again, only close the flaps that you absolutely must in order to get the light to be shaded from your camera or to reduce any other spill light, because you want to maximize any ventilation that you can possibly offer the fixture. The D3 lighting kit comes with 2 smaller lights. These lights are rated for 150 watts, the Arri 150. You can down globe them with a 100-watt globe. However, the 150-watt globe or bulb is usually the most popular. The switch is a heavy-duty switch that's used in the most rigors of production. It withstands impact and is covered with a plastic shield to keep dirt and grime out of the switch itself. The cord set is heavy-duty, 16.3 gauge, in order to withstand the rigors of production, including being walked on or even driven over. We don't recommend you drive over, but it will withstand. It's very important to use a grounded plug with professional lighting fixtures. The grounding prong grounds the entire housing of the fixture, making it completely safe for all operations. If at any time you notice the plug is discolored or disformed, it is time to have the plug replaced. This small 150-watt Fresnel is ideal for backlights, accent lights, and rim lights. And because it is so small of a fixture in relationship to the small lens, it's obviously a very small beam of light. However, you do still have the option to go from spot to flood, and of course the option to add your barn doors. Behaving the same as the larger barn door we showed you on the 650, the 4 leaves can be adjusted and held in position for the shape you want, so that you can take the light off of, in this case, the top of the light kit, and just light the Arri logo. So packed with the fixture is a small filter frame to put any type of your own filter or diffusion, the double scrim, which is coated in red, or the single scrim, which is coated in green. You can put more than one scrim in the holder position. The front groove is for the barn door, and the top latch can secure all items so that when you rotate, it stays in the fixture and cannot fall out. Even though the fixture is small, the things that you need to handle are still quite set up for the large production hand. Both of these knobs are large and easy to handle either with large hands or if using grip gloves. One of the most commonly used adjustments in the fixture is the tilt knob. It is large, it is thermally insulated, so you can use it without gloves, but it is a large enough knob, so if you did have gloves on, you would be able to operate it as well. This is the primary knob that's used to tighten down the fixture so that you can adjust the tilt whether you're going in extreme down or extreme up position. The pan knob is the same as the tightening knob that adheres the fixture to the top of the stand. By loosening that slightly, you can adjust the fixture left to right and of course tighten it back down onto the stand itself. It also is thermally insulated. The next common knob used is the focus knob, which allows you to go from spot to flood. There's a number of turns available depending on the fixture in order to get the full range so that you can get a very fine calibration, usually set by eye, of where you want the spot to flood position to be. The second knob on the rear is your opening knob in order to open the fixture to relamp. You would normally take and put the focus carriage or the optical carriage into the flood position to have the maximum room by which to remove or initially place the lamp in the fixture. The 150 watt Fresnel uses a 150 watt globe with the ANSI code ESP. ANSI stands for American National Standards Institute, and most lamps are given a 3-letter designation by which you can order from any manufacturer to have the correct globe that would work into your fixture. Notice the filament of this globe is very fragile. The filament in this case is a V-shaped, actually an inverted V-shaped, but it's still important that that V is kept parallel with the lens of the fixture itself. The base of the lamp is the only part that you're able to touch. The glass you must not touch with your fingers. The base of the lamp has 2 alignment pins which will align with the recesses in the socket itself. Now I'm going to place the lamp partially back into the plastic bag that came with the bulb so that I can hold it while inserting the lamp into the socket, aligning the 2 protrusions into the grooves, pushing down onto the spring-loaded contacts, and turning slightly in order to get them into the groove, which self-aligns the lamp in the optical train. And the filament will be parallel to the front lens. It's very important not to touch the glass of the lamp with your bare hands. The oils from your hand will get onto the glass, and eventually the edge of the glass envelope will bubble, and you'll have a deformation of the lamp and eventually an early failure. So if you need to remove or replace the lamp, do so by either using the plastic material that comes with the lamp or just a simple tissue. Should by mistake you get oil from your fingers onto the lamp itself, you may wipe it with alcohol in order to clean the lamp. We then push the back of the fixture together and properly secure the closure knob. It is a fine thread and it takes a few turns to secure it completely. You are now ready for operation. Sometimes one wants to use a different type of light shaping device because a barn door can only give you rectangular shapes of the light. One such light shaping device is known as a snoot. It's a cone and allows you to take the beam of light and make a tighter pin spot. The snoot has a series of concentric rings with different diameter openings to cover the front of the snoot in order to develop different size pin spots. By loosening the knurled knob, you select the particular opening of your choice and then just tighten the knob into position. The snoot is then placed in the front of the fixture in just the same way as the barn door is. And when the light is turned on, you'll see we have just a very small highlight that can be used to pinpoint just a section. You don't get too much variance over the spot to flood knob because the beam has been decided by the snoot. However, one thing we have not talked about is that you can increase or decrease the light output of the center based on using the spot to flood knob. As you might imagine, I'll remove the snoot now. If you take the light and spread it out from the spot position, which gives you the most intensity, to the flood position, the center intensity in the flood position has less light because you've asked the light to widen out. So you can often use the spot to flood knob to vary the amount of light you have in the center of the beam. This feature, along with the scrims, gives you quite a bit of control with still using the light at full power. Next, I want to talk about some of the specifics to the Arri Lighting fixture. Some things you may take for granted, or some things, quite frankly, are just doing its job so you don't even think about it at all. One is the overall construction of the fixture. Arri Lighting fixtures use a series of aluminum extrusions and aluminum castings for the outside of its fixture. The reason for this is to dissipate the heat that comes from the light bulb inside the fixture as quick as possible to the external of the fixture so that it can be released into the ambient temperature, thereby keeping the best operating temperature inside the fixture, which is crucial to maintain lamp life. So the design of the fixture thermally helps increase the lamp life of the bulb itself. Secondly, when it is time to wrap and you turn off the fixture, you want the least amount of time that's needed for the fixture to cool down. And that is done again because of all of the extrusion techniques and the actual design of the fixture itself. So by the time you pack the accessories away and you wrap your cable, the fixture will be cool enough that you can put it back into the kit. Thirdly, there's a lot of adjustability to some of our fixtures in terms of mounting techniques. So far, you saw that we placed the fixture directly onto the top of the stand using the 5/8 inch receiver. 5/8 inch, or the baby size in terms of the pin and receiver, is standard on small fixtures. In addition to the small hole at the bottom in order to mount on the top of the stand, there is a through hole on the back that you can slide a rod either from a 40 or 20 inch C-stand gobo arm, or that you can do with any other types of mounting techniques. C-clamps are available, pipe clamps, with a 5/8 inch stud so that you can hang a fixture. And you'll see that you can rotate the stirrup all the way around the front of the fixture into its hanging mode. And you have a choice of either using a C-clamp with a 5-inch stud or with a right-angled screwdriver, Phillips head screwdriver. You can remove 2 screws, remove the bail block in its entirety, and you are left with a hole in the bail of which you can put through a bolt to any type of mounting C-clamp. So there's a lot of variables that allow you to mount this. One such mounting device is a sealing scissors clamp. You just unscrew it slightly to open up the jaws, place it on the T-channel of a suspended ceiling, tighten it back up, and use this as your mounting device for your smaller lighting fixtures. And because the fixture is lightweight, in fact, much of the weight of the fixture is in the cable itself, and therefore it's common when mounting these on a sealing scissors clamp to actually pick up the weight of the cable with additional clamps throughout the sealing rig. It's also possible to move the stirrup or bail or yoke, all common terms for this U-shaped piece, forward or backward in the extrusion of the fixture itself. One of the advantages in mounting the Arri 150 watt Fresnel is the ability to move the stirrup, also known as the yoke or the bail, forward or backwards. This is done by loosening the tilt knob, as well as taking an 8mm socket and loosening the nut on the opposite side, and then be sliding it back and forth within the extrusion to the point that makes the most sense. You can do this to adjust the center of gravity or to get the most versatile mounting position. Once you've reached the position you want, retighten with the 8mm socket, retighten your tilt knob, and then you can mount to get the desired technique you may want. It may even be done for some other specific type of mounting position that you may be going for. We attempted, Arri, to put necessary and crucial information on the fixture itself that you'll need for both safety and operational needs. On the bottom of the fixture, you will see not only the recommended 150 watts not be exceeded, you also see that you need to be careful when using a professional light fixture that it's not close to combustible materials. You also see that we indicate the maximum tilt angle, which is 90 degrees from the horizontal or straight down. And also that we point out here that you must be very careful at all times to be aware of risk of fire when using a hot fixture of this type. Arri lighting fixtures are manufactured to safety requirements as set out by independent testing laboratories. As you can see, TUV is shown here on the fixture, which is the recognized testing laboratory of Europe. They also recognize NRTL, which stands for National Recognized Tester Laboratory, to the Canadian standards, which is the C, and the US standards, which you can't quite see there because it's under the casting. That means that this unit has the equivalent rating of those that have been recognized by UL or ETL. Above that, you'll see an Arri quality control sticker, which shows that each one of these fixtures have individually been tested and passed the quality control standards in our final checkout phase in our factory. On the top of the fixture, and a little bit harder to read, is the ident number, as well as the name and the weight of the fixture. And on the other side is crucial information that shows how far away the fixture must be to combustible material. In this case, 1/2 meter, roughly 1.5 feet, is the distance that we want to have between a combustible material and the front of this fixture. It also tells you the minimum space from the back of the fixture combustible material, which is also 1/2 meter, and the distance from the top of the fixture to combustible material, which is also 1/2 meter. It will give you the lamp that can be used in this fixture, the operating ambient conditions, as well as the supply voltage that this fixture can be used in. Most all Arri fixtures can be used in supply of 110 volt countries as well as 120 volt countries. And probably one of the most popular phrases that is included on our lighting fixtures, and one of my favorites, is that these fixtures are not for residential use. They are not designed for continuous use in WAS residence, and we must put that disclaimer on the fixture. On the top of the fixture, we offer a safety loop by which you can safety off your fixture separately from the normal mounting by using a safety cable. This loop is an integral part of the casting and is capable of handling the entire weight. Speaking of the entire weight, many people pull a fixture by the cable. This is not a correct practice, but knowing that this happens, we have a very extensive strain relief system for the electrical cable into the fixture. Let me open the fixture and show you the inside. Again, we must open up the fixture by the knurled knob. Move back the fixture. I'll turn this here so you can see inside. And you can see in the back, in the very bottom, there is an extensive strain relief holding the inside of that cable so that any tugging, pulling, or normal use can be withstood and not put undue pressure on the wires inside the fixture. So I'm going to go ahead and take the reflector and lamp into the flood position, or up forward, to show you a few things in the rear of the fixture. In addition to the strain relief that we've been talking about, you'll notice the terminal block, which is how we change from the cord set wiring to the internal wiring of the fixture that goes to the socket. This allows the proper wire to be used inside the fixture for the heat and not an extension of the same more flexible wire that's used in the cord set itself. You may also note that the reflector that I've been moving back and forth is as large as it can be in this size fixture in order to optically gather as much of the light from the bulb and send it back out to the front of the fixture. And of course, the lens itself is as large as it can be for the size fixture. The Fresnel lens and the number of rings in the Fresnel lens is crucial in order to get a smooth field of light. To remove the lens, in order to replace it, the lens clip is removed just by 2 fingers, and then one can remove the lens, and even though it is small, it is very delicate. It can be cleaned and replaced and inspected for any types of cracks. The high quality lenses that are used in the Arri fixture are made in Germany, have the ordering code numbers on the edge of the lens itself, and is of a very high quality glass that won't yellow over time. is slightly pebbled on the back to diffuse the light ever so slightly and to give the best quality light transmission in any fixture in its class. Looking into the front of the fixture, you'll see there's really not too much more to the focal train than making sure the lamp is properly aligned, that the filament is parallel to the lens, that the reflector is parallel to the lens, and of course that the lens is properly seated into the front barrel. Well, the focal train normally refers to the combination of all of the elements that are needed for the optical system. And in this case, because we are moving the reflector and lamp combination in relationship to the lens, the focal train actually happens to be with being able to move the focus part. It's actually a derivation from the optical train, which is the entire optical system, and the focus train is really that part of it which actually moves within the optical system. Although the D3 kit does not include the 300 watt Arri Fresnel, it is a very popular fixture that is used in many of our other kits. Here we show the relationship in size of the fixture between the Arri 300 watt to the 650 watt and to the 150 watt Fresnel. Now keep in mind that the 300 watt lamp used in the 300 watt Fresnel is the maximum wattage that can be used in this fixture. However, you can put the 300 watt lamp in the 650 watt fixture. Therefore, in the 650 watt Fresnel, you can have multiple options for your wattage of your lamps, the 300 watt, the 500 watt, or the 650 watt lamp. You may think that these two fixtures are similar, but they're not. This particular lamp head, although a Fresnel that uses the same diameter Fresnel, actually uses an entirely different lamp source. It uses an HMI lamp source. And the HMI lamp is considerably different than its tungsten halogen counterpart. For one, the lamp requires an associated ballast, and that ballast will feed the proper voltage and power to an igniter which ignites the lamp, giving us a light output of an HMI that's 4 times brighter than the same wattage lamp in tungsten. Therefore, with only a 200 watt HMI bulb, we can get the equivalent light output that we would get from an 800 watt tungsten halogen lamp, which would require even more than what this 650 is able to do. The second thing about the HMI lamp is the color temperature of the light is at daylight. In order to match the color temperature with the tungsten lamp, we would have to add a blue filter in the front of the light that would reduce about 50% of the light output. So in actuality, this HMI lamp at 200 watts is putting out the equivalent light of what a 1600 watt tungsten bulb would have to do in a fixture, with a blue filter knocking it down 50%, and only then would you have an equivalent. So you can see actually it's 8 times the light output if you're matching color temperature. Now a few things about the details. At first glance, you will think that the inside of the fixture is similar to what you've seen before with the tungsten halogen fixture. One major difference is that of safety, and that is a switch which deactivates power if you open the fixture. The HMI lamp puts out a considerable amount of UV. Therefore, to protect you and your client, the fixtures are designed to shut off should you inadvertently open the fixture for relamping while power is still energized and the light is still on. This is a major difference and a safety tip that you must keep in mind when using HMI. Compared to the tungsten bulb, you'll see that the HMI lamp on your left has no filament. There's actually an arc that's created between the anode and the cathode. This is what makes the HMI light. The HMI lamp, as mentioned earlier, needs both an igniter, which is located in the fixture, and a ballast, which is normally located separately or detached. This particular ballast can fire either a 125 watt lamp head or the 200 watt lamp head that we're using here. You'll see that there's a multiple pin in the connection between the ballast and the lamp head. This ballast, in addition to having an on-off switch, has a dimmer that can take it from full to 50% of the light output. Unlike tungsten, you cannot dim HMI its full range because you will lose the arc. Typically, one uses a head-to-ballast cable to lengthen the distance between the lamp head and the ballast. Make sure the power is disconnected. Other than that, it doesn't matter if you attach the cable to the lamp first or the ballast first. Once you have a secure connection at the head and at the ballast, you can then plug to your power source and energize the system. One of the peculiar questions asked about HMI lighting is whether or not the unit will hot restrike. That's a characteristic that once you turn off the HMI lamp, are you able to start it again instantaneously? All Arri HMIs, hot restrike. Professional lighting fixtures use professional lamps. The main difference between these tungsten halogen lamps and one that you buy in your local hardware store is that they are rated for 3200 degrees Kelvin, giving a constant color temperature throughout the life of the use of this lamp. Because they are rated for 3200 degrees Kelvin, their rated life is much lower than those that have the lower Kelvin temperature. Therefore, the rated life of many of these lamps are only between 300 and 500 hours. And in fact, in some of the very small tungsten bulbs, such as the ones that are used in our 150 watt fixture, the rated lamp life is considerably less. Arri has over 23 lighting kits using tungsten sources and over 12 lighting kits using HMI sources. Everything from the large production kits, the SoftBank 1, the SoftBank 4, and its large cases. These kits weigh approximately 75 pounds. The smaller D-series kits weigh between 40 and 50 pounds. Presently, the large cases have wheels and the smaller cases do not. But stay tuned, in 2007, wheels will be coming to your smaller Arri lighting case.